All right. Hey, guys, welcome back. This is Lethal Toad. I'm Toad. That's Lethal. We're going to go through a quick recap of this last week's pay per view. I was really happy with our predictions, a lot of our reads, and I know we both talked briefly here and cashed out. And I comment below. Tell me what your favorite lock, your favorite bet of the week was. We're going to get right through it, though. You got anything before we begin, Lethal?
No, mate, look, it was an exciting card. Look, I loved it. It was worth every fucking dollar. Um, Nothing was unexpected. In theory, there's a couple that were, but nothing surprised me. Did I make money? Absolutely. Did my parlays fail? Absolutely. But I still made money, and that's the most important thing. So this is all about it. We're talking about picks and that. We're all about here to make money too. So whether my parlays failed or not, I always had one secure bet in line, and we'll get to that at the end, won't we, Mister Toad?
Yes, sir. So without further
Absolutely.
ado, kicking things off, we had that first fight on the card, and I'll be honest. Quick little recap for me. You guys know I'm normally streaming my fight companion, reacting live right before the cards. Um, I was watching the first four fights through my phone until I was actually at the hotel. Friend, about 2,000 miles worth of driving over the last few days, hit me up, said, "Hey, I'm surprising you. I'm in town. Let's watch the fights." Girl's not feeling the best. I was like, "Well, we can go watch the fight somewhere." Last time we got together, he got like this really nice suite, really nice hotel spot in town. His brother came through. His brother's girlfriend came through. We all just had like a really nice get together, and we were all locking in. They were locking in. I was locking in. Uh, One of them even faded one of my picks here. I'll get to in a minute. Made some money doing so. But for the most part, we all locked in on some of my favorite picks, and between the three of us, we fucked it up. So, yeah, didn't no fight companion for me from this last card, but you guys just know I got all kinds of content that I may share another time of me screaming, running around the hotel room, telling Kayla Harrison piece by piece of what she's doing before she gets the sub. We called that one too, but here we go. Kicking off the card, we had Markel taking on Mark, that Division III wrestler, and I'm not gonna lie, one of the first big moments I had the most time between packing my shit, getting back from fishing, freshening up. I'm looking at him backpacking Markel and threatening a submission, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna be good if this gets to the ground. Thankfully, Markel was able to stand, weather that, and throughout the rest of the fight was eating the shit out of Mark's legs, just
Ooh,
fucking kicking the piss out of that. Uh, Lethal, take it away. What was the rest of that fight like for
mate,
you?
look, I put fucking $5 just on that submission because I just, that's what he does. Let's have a go. You might do it. He didn't do it. I lost $5. You predicted it. I followed you on that one. I followed your first four. Remember, I say I follow your first four all the time. You're rarely wrong on your first four, brother. That's how I get my first $60, and I use that $60 to keep on playing. So we'll get on to that. So strike one to you. Not strike out, strike one. Fucking green in the box, mate.
Yeah,
You picked it. I put $5 on it. I lost it. Move on to the next one.
yeah. So another actually like pretty good scrappy fight, I would say, with Quillen and Ajmus. Ajmus was, he was not going out without a fight. He was still swinging heavy. The biggest thing that Selkield had is just the grappling, exchanging, the control, because now when he was on the feet, he throws bombs too. That was so amazing that last fight with Trevor Peak went to a decision to begin with, because this guy throws with crazy intention, but the well-roundedness and avoiding the gunfight when necessary from Quillen, just that's what won him this fight. He displayed overall better technicality, but still scrappy, still a close fight in the sense of like, yeah, Ash Moose did not go down without an absolute fucking fight. So, pretty good performances there. Got the pick right, so we're streaking too. What was your recap?
Mate, look, Quillen all day, being an Australian. look, I didn't realize Australians are getting really good at wrestling, and I live here in the backyard. So um, we're showing that, yeah, we're showing that. You know what I mean? In theory, if you ever know this, you can look it up, and I might be wrong. Robert Whitaker was picked as a wrestler for the Commonwealth Games for Australia. Now, that might not sound cool, you know, people going, fucking Jesus Christ, if that's your best. But what we're showing, if that wasn't our best, we're showing that there is a wrestling pedigree going on in this country, and it's not combo, sambo, fucking bumbo, fucking combat. It's not American wrestling. It's not freestyle wrestling. It's sort of Australian fucking rugby tackle and drive them to the ground. You know, rugby's a hard game, and if you can see, if you look, a lot of these players come from a rugby fighters come, I'm not players, a lot of these fighters come from a rugby background, so they're not scared. Volk is a small man. They used to be 220 pound. They used to be a front and second rower in a rugby team. So I watched an interview many years ago that he goes, "No man scares me. When you're a little man in those face big men, it's pretty all good." So when he drops
Yeah.
down to all that weight, he still thinks he's a small man facing big men, but now he's a big man facing the men his size. So um, I think there's a good pedigree of wrestling going on here. I think it's going to get overlooked. We saw that with JDM. We're seeing it with Quinlan. That was dominant fucking grappling. You know what I mean? That was really dominant
Yeah.
grappling. That was, I've got you on the ground, you strong motherfucker.
Before
And I
we
didn't realize.
Yeah, before we move on, I would say that Australia has been definitely getting more recognized for their wrestling. And that meme really soared off before going into Islam and Volk. Islam laughing at Volk, they got no wrestling, this, and that. DC's obviously cheering this whole thing on. And then mid fight, Volk's looking back over his shoulder, feeding Islam shot after shot. It's like, huh? Thought I was going to be able to wrestle, basically feeding that shit talking back as he was the one punching
Yeah.
Islam, who wasn't advancing doing shit because Volk had a good enough wrestling base. And I mean, at the end of the day, he's lucky that fight ended because Volk was, picking up steam and momentum. And I think had there been no round limit, fight to the death, Volkanovski would have beat Islam in that first bout. I just think he would have. So, anyways, moving up the card.
Yep. Let's go.
This one was fucking hilarious because at this point, I'm just getting into my car. Literally is backing down the driveway, heard all the commotion, didn't pull onto the street yet, about to head to the hotel, and that's when I saw the fucking highlight replay of the killer left hook. Didn't have any steam on it. It was just perfectly placed, and yeah, Jacob got sent to the Shadow Realm. Amazing knockout.
Mate, I've never seen anyone fly down and hit the thing like a tree, face forward into the canvas. That would have hurt more than the fucking knockout. So there's nothing much. Like I said, some fights were great. We can talk about how great was it, but it was so good that there's nothing to talk about. It was finished. It started, and then it was over.
Yep.
Um, Amazing fight. Well done, Korea, South Korea, and off you go. Jae Sung Yu,
Nice
part of
little
the
bonus,
parlay.
little zombie junior right here. So good for
Yeah,
them.
all day, all
All right.
day. So
All right.
happy with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Kong Wang had a nice victory over De Silva. Um, I'll admit, as she's going up in higher level of adversity, I'm not seeing her really coming out and having these killer finishes left and right. That's not to say that De Silva's not technical also on the feet enough to avoid some of those, but I think as we see Kong go into the higher rankings here, um, yeah, she's not going to be this crazy high favorite, or else I'm going to be fading, truthfully. Just based on what we've seen her get caught by already, she loves to go out and look for her own highlight clip. And I think in the process, she's very susceptible to receiving one against her, like had already happened. So at this level, I'm going to tread cautiously with Wang. I know there's a lot of fire under her belt, A lot of people, they're behind her at this point. I'm just gonna tread a little cautiously and take it fight by fight with her. What was your take with the fight, though? I know this was a big one for you.
Hey, look, man, I sort of, that was a long shot parlay for me. You know that. I was going on the Queen. I think in the £6 might have made a difference. I thought it was actually tactical. Now I'll tell this out loud. I thought it was more tactical than anything. You've been out for a while. I'll just use weight. I thought she was going to go to the ground. I thought she was going to use that weight to her advantage. Because that's why you fucking were there. But with that being said, I did a bit more research. She did have a pituitary gland problem, whether that's real or no. But I've been going through a little bit of fucking social media, checking up the shit, and I'm doing the dogs right now. But yeah, come on, Roxy, come. No,
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
anyway,
fight
no,
happened. Happy it wasn't canceled. That's good on Wang
mate, look,
for
happy wasn't.
accepting the
Wang,
difference.
those leg kicks were amazing. Um, I'm not buying her cards. If I'm going to convert this to our collection, like sometimes we do, I'm not buying Wang Kong cards. I don't like the whole Joker thing. I think she tries too hard to play something that she's seen on TV. Too many fucking WWE movies for her. Come in and fight. Be a martial artist. Take off the fucking Joker shit. Finish people all the time. You know what I mean? And just be real to the game because whatever you watched when you were growing up, this isn't the WWE, and I'm not enjoying it. You know what I mean? I'd rather the old mate that dresses paints his face like the Hulk. What's his name? Fucking.
Well, there's Milky Boy who does that, but I understand kind of why he does it too.
You know what
So,
I mean? So there's some people that pull it off, some doesn't. You're not at that state. Come on, Roxy, go.
so
You're
all
not
right,
at that
moving up the
state. And,
card. I took my
yeah,
first loss on my picks over the week in terms of um, fight accuracy. Didn't honestly have a bunch of stake on this. I had distance no, and I did throw round one Chaos Williams in a very small sprinkle parlay, but here's the fight did kind of play out to what we gave the flowers for Gustafson. Dude's good in the clinch. He's good with the knees. He's good with the short elbows. And yeah, he ended up getting chaos down to the ground where I thought he really opened up and did the best there. Williams just simply didn't show up. He didn't look like he knew how to get out of any of the clinch, any of the minor grappling. He just didn't do at range what we thought he would. So fight surprisingly went to the judges, but Gustafson did win the exact way that we thought. What's your quick recap on this one?
uh, keep an eye on Gustafsson, dude. I thought it was a fucking amazing fight.
Mm-hmm.
That guy fucking fights. You see people sitting back trying to get in close. That guy just runs in, throws elbows, gets in close, and that ground and pound, mate. That ground and pound was just amazing. So uh, keep an eye on that guy. It's a dark horse for me to get a
Yep.
belt. All right, I'm going to tell you, that guy is strong. He's violent, and he has only one mission to get from there to there to close the gap. He doesn't sit back for fucking 5 minutes to close the gap. He doesn't sit back for 15 minutes. He just closes the gap. He runs at you like a goddamn psycho. We have no choice. And then you're all of a sudden, he's here. And when he's there, that's strengthening him. So amazing fight. Um, I lost a bit of money on. That's why I lost on parlays too. But you know what? Fuck the parlays. That guy. I'm gonna fucking put my money on you next time I see you fight, brother, because that was a strong performance.
Yep. It's definitely a killer be killed kind of style, so I still in the future like the
Yeah,
idea of distance no as long as it has a good prop on it, whether I'm riding him or fading him. But also keep an eye out tops. They are doing UFC fighter debut patches. He's one of those first fighters that will have one of those.
yeah.
Um, However, they look to put that into,
I
some
would be
type of
honored to
booklet or
own that.
something. Who knows?
I'd be honored if I ever saw it. I'd be honored to own it. Anyway,
For sure,
because
yeah.
that's my
Moving up the
prediction.
card, we got Waldo
Yeah,
Acosta taking on Sergey Spivak. Another back-to-back loss for me in terms of my picks. Distance, I kind of stayed away from a bit on this fight. I respected how it could go to the a decision either way. Now here's what I found interesting about FanDuel on this. We know that the props were pretty fucking crazy on this one going into the card.
yeah,
Costa was plus 250 something as a dog, which in a heavyweight bout, I'm sorry, all it takes is one. But moments into the first round, Spivak is a great early starter. He had a pretty okay first round. Acosta's props in the first few minutes of the fight went up to like almost plus 400. And then as Sergey drops, and we did talk about how he kind of fails at being a full, complete 15-minute fighter. He certainly fades, and that's where Acosta picks up. That was the breakdown done by many throughout this week. Is that how Spivak could fade if he didn't get the early finish? And so the live prop at Spivak ending round two was like plus 350. Uh, I looked at the amount of wager and I decided I could put money on Spivak and guarantee that I make 2.5x of what my stake
yeah.
was because the live props were going this way and then going that way. It was me combining two plus, three 400s with a plus 350. Little sprinkle, a little bit more of a sprinkle. We guaranteed 2.5x regardless of how, as long as it wasn't a draw. Pretty fucking nuts. And even then, those slips are voided back to me. So I don't do live props a shit ton. I try to watch the fights, enjoy myself. I
Yeah.
had to share that. Something that maybe you guys could take a better look at during the fights and let me know if you get some action. But the bookies on FanDuel fucked that one up. Like, period. But yeah, how did you feel the fight was?
Dude, I had spit back first round and third round. Yes, close fight. All right. And it was my lock. So, yes, I lost parlays. Not going to sit back and went, wow, that worked out fucking good for me. It didn't work out good for me. But that was my lock. I did think he had it first and three, but I also did think with all that, mate, he was controlling. He was hands up, and that's it. Like, okay, you got him. You're pushing him back. You're pushing him back. You've been doing it for fucking, mate. What he had was octagon control, full octagon control, like fucking in his face, cutting him off, carving him up, sort of. And then he did nothing, sort of did nothing. I think when he looks back on it, he'll be very disappointed in himself. Waldo didn't win. Spivak lost that fight himself.
Yeah,
If you know, if that makes sense.
it does. He lacked that like final surge of like cardio to have more combinations, more volume because he did throw with power throughout the entire fight, and when it got around the guard of Acosta and hit semi decently, he was getting wobbled a bit, especially at the
Yeah,
end. That was some people are trying to tell me that it was just Acosta playing possum. Not at the end of that fight. If Sergey had followed some of these shots up with a flurry, Acosta was done. He was absolutely getting hurt, but that was where it stopped. The fight ended right as Sergey was kind of on that that final minute or so, I would say, in that fight to get
I
the
will say
finish.
one last thing though. Costa's fucking stand up, fucking takedown defense. Takedown defense is amazing. Has improved 50 billion times. So I wasn't expecting that. I was banking on Spivak to take Costa down. That was where I was
Yeah,
putting my money on the takedown. I wasn't putting it on. I was just putting it on control. Um, Spivak did try many times. He failed. Kudos to Costa, mate. Well done. You've evolved. Because the last time you got taken down, you fucking lost. That's why you got a one on your record, son. You know what I mean? So since you got that one on your record, you learn. Wow. And Spivak was a guy that was going to take you down. And well done for standing through that shit and getting through it. So Costa does win. Um, didn't want him to win, but I still think Spivak took one and three. But let's move on.
yep. Asma gets a very as expected, early first round knockout against Brinson. The prop on that was just so favorable, so high that a lot of people just, I mean, what was there to be made unless you hammered the shit out of it? I did
Yeah.
see round one specifically was just barely plus money. Sure. If you're going for a round specific parlay or something, I think that's a pretty safe sprinkle, but I'll be curious to see this guy's line movement more when he actually gets to like higher level opposition. But yeah, Brinson, we knew he's pretty susceptible to it. We knew that was fight gonna be with a within the distance as well. So not too surprised. Any takeaways there? Or did I summarize?
Mate, that was this one's a nice short one for me, man. That was
Yep.
predictable. Hey, look, nothing's predictable, so let me not say that. Let me not take away from the other fighter. Let me not be a dick here. But um, I'm just following stats. I'm following past fights. I'm following the fucking zero record, and I'm just sitting back, following the community as well, seeing what everyone's putting out and having a go. And you know what? And at the end of the day, the odd makers, this, that, what I'm seeing, and all that, only pointed to one direction. If it wasn't a knockout, it was a win. You know, it was either or. So that was an easy one. That wasn't even a challenge.
Sure.
So I'm happy to go move on from that one.
Yeah, Joshua Van taking on Bruno Silva. It was really sad, by the way. This is around the time all the Eddies were kicking in, the party's really getting ramped up. We're having a great time at the hotel, and I'd been kind of on this boat as far as like what's the first bet we're all gonna lock in on. Um, I told him the fight with Bruno Silva and Joshua Van, the fight ends by knockout. Not because I didn't trust that Van could get it done, but I respected that counter shot by Bruno, the way he loads it up, throws it. He's got a ton of power. And we know that, well, if Charles Johnson can put you out of there, then a perfectly timed counter from Bruno could easily do the same. That's not to say I'm not big on Josh Van, not a big fan of Josh Van. Just when you looked at the numbers, it was like very slightly more to have Van by knockout versus fight in by knockout. So that was the prop that I had on several parlays, but I had a location verification error. So what I thought I had about 80 $100 fight in by knockout. I'm all geeking out. Pull refresh the app afterwards. Verification issue. Bet was never placed. So I was pretty sad about that one in terms of just that instant gratification. The parlay misses up the card. The only other fight I got wrong, I got 3 wrong total. We'll get into that here in a minute. Otherwise, the cycle would have hit. But yeah, go ahead, give me your takeaway.
Man, look,
I think Van's a fucking gangster, and I always have. So I love that fight.
Joshua Van, been following since the beginning. A big fan, man. Big fan. Thinks he's got the slickest. I think he's got the slickest hands in the UFC. Right. That guy can beat people up without getting his takedown defense is amazing. His cardio is amazing. His boxing is second to fucking none. I've never seen how anyone can just fucking slip from be here. He's like a kitten. He's like, 1 minute I'm here, and next minute oh, you're there. He's jabbing you here and hooking you here. Before you know it, he's back over here. You know what I mean? He's just doing the perfect box. He's the perfect boxer, the perfect cardio. Kudos for him getting the promotion to fight Royale coming up. So,
Yep. Huge.
mate, well done. I'm a full backer. I think he's going to carve up Royale. I'm putting all my money on that one. I think Joshua Fan is amazing. I, and the thing about his wrestling was, remember back in the day when he first started, DC said he only been wrestling for 6 months. Like literally, he just came in and like just learn how to not to get taken down. Didn't know how to wrestle. Just learn in 6 months how not to get taken down,
Yep. And
which is
we'll
cool.
see. We'll see how that ages with Royval because that's a really big leap in rankings, and I'm excited for the opportunity for Josh. But
Oh,
honestly, if I had it my way, I would have seen Josh another 2 or 3 fights to even make it to that level, truthfully, because we're taking away a bit more growth and opportunity from Van, and the fact that he's literally being catapulted, much like they did with Usyk, by the way. Flyweight's kind of like that. I mean, Pantoja is eating through guys, and not a lot of people are excited for the rematches, so I get it from that perspective. You're adding a guy that has a big following, a big hype, a bit of sensation since joining the UFC. Yeah, he took his loss, but he's come back with some nice wins. And this time he wasn't disappointed in himself. He did get the finish. That's what he set out for. Would have liked to have seen a bonus on this one for what it was, what it's worth. But yeah, you're right. He has a shot on the feet with Royval. I don't know that it's going to be that easy to be on the feet with Royval. So excited for the fight
Joshua
nonetheless.
Van, I'm going to sit back right now and you when it
One day,
comes,
one day,
when it comes,
one day,
he
yes.
beat Royale, which he will. JDM has the slickest boxing. We are now seeing boxers, good boxers, Ilias, and like boxers, man. Boxing is actually turning out to be something cool. I'm loving Joshua Van. Let's move on, but
Yep.
go Joshua Van. And you, one day, motherfucker, I love you, Joshua Van. And he just bought his mum a house with that money, so that's fucking
That
awesome.
was
Well
sweet
done
too.
to you.
Yeah, he better have some fucking brass knuckles on if he's gonna knock out Pantoja though. That dude's got the most granite chin in UFC. All right, so
5 rounds. He's going to fucking outbox that dude. He's just going to do that boxing square. He's just going to go bam, bam, bam like a little kitten, man. He's just going to go fucking all
yeah.
over the shop. It's going to be amazing.
Moving up the card, we had Kevin Holland taking on Vincent Luque. Prop on Holland by submission, pretty decent. Like plus 650 is what I seen. I took it at plus like 350 fight to end by submission. So that way, to me, I covered my maybe upset from Vincent Luque because the guy either comes out in the first round, grabs a hold of you dry like a vice, does what he does best. But Kevin Holland, we know sizably, he's got some sniper attitude on the feet, amazing lethal power in his combinations. He is able to mix it quite well himself. And someone was arguing with me like, it's either Kevin by KO or no. You got to respect what Vincent is able to defend. And I said, my brother, this isn't a grappling match. It's entirely different. With someone like Kevin Howland, he could crack somebody and your whole jiu-jitsu fucking battle plan goes out your ass. I'm sorry, but Kevin is one of those guys. I will never doubt a submission regardless of who he's fighting just because of what his striking can open up. And that's the bottom line. I took the fight to end by a submission because I like the money payout better, but when I found it plus 350 respecting both men for a sub, I couldn't have been happier. We took 40 to cash out at like 180. So what was your recap of the fight? How do you enjoy it? I'm just happy Kevin Holland's
Mate, look,
beating
I, I,
fucking
all I
ass at 170 right now.
all I do remember is I took him by submission because I sat back and rewatched our first episode, and I sat back and I remember bagging the shit out of Kevin Holland saying something along the lines of this, mate, don't have the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu belt if you're not going to use the Gracie shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was I said I followed fucking jiu-jitsu. I'm sick of people fucking not actually using it. You know what I mean? Like, if you've got to use it, I put it on because of that statement. I walked out with some good coin on that one. It was part of my parlay that got me to the end. Um, but yeah, I'm glad he's back. I even said on that episode, I think he's sick of losing. I
Yeah.
think he's sick of losing. I said, I think he's actually just sick of fucking losing. Like literally just losing. You know what I mean? I think he's got a bit more pride than money and trying to be a big mouth and have the gold chains and smoke weed. I think he actually thinks he's a great martial artist, and he is. And when he puts all that shit together, he came out swinging, mate. Bang, 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 bang. And you're right. He hits you first to get, and he'll use the submission, and he's starting to do it. He should have done that when he was getting out wrestled. You know what I mean? He should have used
Yeah.
that jiu-jitsu instead of laying on the ground talking to Dana, going, "Hey, dude, I can't wrestle."
But
You know,
also, let's
like,
consider too the fact that, all right, he is making his way through welterweight. We've kind of avoided middleweight. we're not stepping in, taking these super super short notice fights
Yeah.
anymore. Also up in weight. When Kevin is having to diet and train, he said it himself in the post fight. He feels better and he knows that he's doing better. It just Kevin is a welterweight fighter. So step one is Kevin fighting at welterweight. Step two is this a short notice fight? If it's on his terms at welterweight, he's game. Like he is 100% game. People kind of started to fade him because he's been all over the place, just taking fights. And yeah, the whole thing with Rampage, I think,
No,
made him dial in a way where, all right, now he's getting ripped on big time if he's just going out looking like a fucking clown. And he was sick of all the bullshit and the memes. So yeah, he focused in and he's doing great. So as long
I've,
as
I've
Howland
been
keeps
loyal.
doing great, I could expect us to get somewhere down the line where Howland and Buckley have a rematch, a
Brother, I'm going
fucking
to say
beautiful
this.
rematch.
I've been a loyal fan of Kevin Holland from the beginning. And this is the word loyalty, brother. It doesn't matter who the fighter is, right? You follow someone just because they lose, don't sell their cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You
Yep.
should see how many people online, on all the chat rooms, as soon as fucking Miranda there and there's someone loses, oh my God, oh, they're worth nothing. I thought they were part of your PC. Now you're cleaning up your PC and you fucking what? Because I lost one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't. Your PC's your PC, cards are your cards. Fighters will lose. Just because they lose, don't think they're losers. You know what I mean? Like, have
For
a bit
sure.
of loyalty. Have a bit of loyalty to your PC and your collection. Have a bit of loyalty to the fighter that goes through bad fucking times, and use that word. Don't sit back and cash in every time someone fucking wins or loses. Cash, cash, cash. Wait, wait. When Kevin was through his bad shit, I didn't cash in one card. I bought cards cheap when before he got there, and I still got his cards. I'm just waiting. I'll just wait. And if he makes nothing, I don't care because I'm loyal to Kevin Holland. Always will be, man. I
Yep.
think he's a fucking great advocate for the sport. And all kudos. Hashtag at whatever you want to call it, Kevin Holland. Let's move on.
Trailblazer. Yeah, I expect the next fight from Luque, unless he's taking fun fights at least, or other like legendary fights, which in this case, this was one of those. I can't imagine Luque wanting to be around much longer, so I'm expecting a retirement fight soon, so prepare for that. His next go or two. Moving up the card.
When they put UK against Nate Diaz to start with, that was just
Yeah,
two old men in a cage when I saw that. So we'll I'll just quickly say that that wasn't exciting. Luke was exciting. We all get old. It's no insult to the fighter or who they are. You're just getting old, man. You got money, you got kids, you got other shit to do, man. You know what I mean? You fight for the money. Now you got the money. What do you fight for?
nope.
If it's
All
the
right.
belt, if it's the belt. If you can't get the belt, what are you going to do now? You know what I mean? You're just going to keep on getting beat up in the ring for the extra 50 grand, 100 grand. I don't know.
Now the
So
vlog was very
let's not,
focused on him with his son. I could just see him wanting to be there, the
yeah.
best him, the healthy him. I can expect a retirement fight in the next one or two. All
Yeah,
right.
and I hope he does, man. And he was a great fighter. He was a tough dude. All kudos to him. And look, Kevin Holland's a long man. Vincent Luque, I'm sorry, brother, but never going to tell you to retire, but I think it's time to look after your family. And fucking man, you're the man. But if you want the belt, that's done. You're never going to get it. If you can't get past fucking Kevin Holland, you're never going to get the belt.
Yeah,
So,
I think he's
I'm,
got a lifelong career in helping the guys at Killcliff and whatever gym. Maybe open his own. Just be a trainer, be in the corner, use your wisdom, and help get the next
I
generation
could even
that
see him
skill
on the
set.
desk at
Yeah,
ESPN doing the fucking
sure.
things with Chiesa and shit. He
Yeah, sure.
speaks good English. He is fucking American. He's born in America, but he's like, you know what I mean. So I could see him as a good looking dude. He's got a future just sitting back with the Bisbings and the Felders, and so he can convert in two languages. And yeah, so I think he's got a great future. But I think it's done, man. Don't
Yep.
do it anymore, brother.
All right. So moving up the card, we got Mario Batista taking on Patchy Mix. It sucks. it sucks so much having almost another main card minus that one fight. You know, um,
Mm.
I think the card before we did ace the whole main card, but no, this one we kind of had
Yeah.
Patchy Mix in a few different submission parlays. He was part of my cycle parlay that did have the Van Bruno KO. Um, Mix couldn't move his fucking head, stiffer than a fucking board, and somehow didn't do shit with Mario in the times where they were able to wrap up to each other and fill each other's strength out. I know Mario is well rounded in the sense where he's good at applying pressure. He's got pretty crisp boxing. He's tough. He can sustain himself for at least 15 rounds. We've seen all this before. And so, yes, theoretically, that made Mario the proven UFC pick. And again, we keep getting these guys that will make their big debut fight not at the entry rankings, but somewhere up the chain a bit. And more times than not, Pitbull, Patchy, to a degree, even MVP, some of these guys just don't show up, despite what they look like in their other orgs. Share a Bullet, another great example. They get to the UFC level, and all of a sudden they're not big fish in the pond anymore. Patchy looked god fucking awful, and I regretted every dollar that I expected him to win for me between, again, parlays. His submission prop looked really good. The man won 16 of his 20 fights by a submission. You think at some point that shit was going to be live in the fight. Um, we saw Jose Aldo do significantly better than Patchy fucking Mix, also against Mario. Um, I can't say how disappointed I am in any
Mario had
of
to
my picks
hold
more
up
than Patchy.
Aldo.
So, yeah,
Oh yeah. Like, sorry to interrupt you, man, because
you're
I
good.
think you're on the same wavelength as me. Welcome, okay. Welcome to the UFC, motherfucker. All right. You might have got $1 million from Bellator because they're just handing out cash to anyone to get fucking pay per views and run tournaments. You might have won it twice and have $2 million, bro. But what the fuck was that? What stand up was that? If it was that easy, I'll go to Bellator tomorrow and I'll try and get $1 million. Oh my God. Like, it was embarrassing.
His
My
resume
money
is
was,
too fucking gangster to be losing to fucking
what an
Mario.
idiot. What an idiot. The lead up was WWE. You look like you come from a goddamn Mexican prison to start with. So I thought maybe that, you got all the fucking Gary look, the angry face, you know,
Smooth
your
on the
girlfriend
mic.
was
I mean, he literally could have catapulted his star power by having this win just based on we've all been waiting for Mario to have a bit of a death sentence since he did what he did to Jose Aldo. That was our breakdown too. We were emotional on our picks even further with Patchy because we were fucking ready for Mario to have his coming, you know? And instead, we've only made Mario look even better yet.
Mario. He made Mario Batista, and I know he is not Mario Batista. Yeah, you know what? Where I go, like he made Mario look. Actually, Mario was fucking. Let me start again. Mario was fucking amazing. Okay, what he did was
He's
take a
good.
guy that was standing in the middle of the ring and that was having any offense at all, whether it's fucking a takedown or a fucking him in a basic boxing stand up offense. Mario just sat back and went, I don't know. I'm just going to keep on beating the shit out of the punching bag that's standing in front of me and not moving. So he did what he had to do. He carved that shit up like a fucking turkey, dude. He made Pachi look like, I hope Dana didn't pay $1 million for you. Between him and Pitbull, I hope you fucking, you know what I mean? Like the two dudes, from here, they come from here. We get better dudes coming from the Contender Series in the Tough House. Send
Yep.
Pachi to the Tough House.
Yep.
Maybe do that. Maybe get him out, send him to the Tough House. He'd probably make more money on a reality TV show as a wanker.
Yeah.
Obviously, he can't fight. I don't care about this. He can't fight. If
But
a guy's
UFC
beating the
gets what
shit
they
out of you,
want at the end of the day. I think to a degree they want some of these UFC guys to shut down this amazing Bellator champ with a meh
mm,
UFC fighter because it only proves that at the level of UFC they are the most
mate,
superior MMA group in the world. So I bet you so much Hunter, Mick, Dana, they were licking their lips, smiling at Mario piecing the fuck out of Patchy because it was such a one-sided fight, and it was an absolutely terrible debut. Probably one of the worst debuts at this level we'd ever seen from somebody that we had so much promise in. So it'll be a
yeah,
tough one for him to bounce back, but I see him in the end getting some wins in the UFC still and going out, with a bit of a cheer.
I hope
But
the
it ain't
odds
gonna
on
be
him are like
at a top level. No fucking way.
the best thing to come out of that fight, my man, is the odds on him won't be $1.16 anymore, brother. They'll be
Yeah,
like $3. So
sure.
next fight, I've put my money on him just as a gamble because I don't think he's going to come out. Hopefully he wins because if he loses, you're out, dude. Your fucking thing is done.
Yeah.
Hey, can we take a pause for 2 minutes, my man?
Yeah. I'm going to just move up the card and kind of chip into this, and you pop in right as soon as you get back, just so we can keep working through it.
All right. Yep.
All right,
All
sounds
good.
good. All right, so on this one, sorry, it's hard to do a bunch of the clip editing stuff. So I figured I had enough to talk about this for a minute, anyways. So with that little group I was telling you guys about, we were just kind of cooking up some bets, having some fun on this card. Um, we talked about the Joe Pyfer Joker matchup and how I was very disappointed and what was expected of him in that fight and the way he showed up. And I knew Calvin wasn't going to be super technical with leg kicks, and that if anything, he'd want to swing too. So we did a nice little sprinkle on Gastelum by knockout in case he pulled the upset. Otherwise, Pyfer 100% was winning this fight, regardless if it was decision, submission, knockout to me, especially being a 3-rounder versus a 5-rounder. That was a big factor of consideration too. Um, my friend's brother doesn't even really deeply follow MMA. Um, he heard all of the okay, this is expected to be within the distance. He wanted to put distance yes because it was plus money. I said you could bet distance yes, that way regardless of who wins, it's plus like 130. He put $100 on that shit. And sure enough, it went to the distance. We respected Gaslam's chin in this pick, and we respected that Pyfer, despite he's got the hardest punch, he hasn't really quite showed up against decent level of opposition, hitting that big body bags knockout. So he cashed out there. I put a decision bet by Pyfer that paid me back for my prop on knockout and submission and the Gaslam sprinkle. So made all that back with the Pyfer decision, but really the biggest play in the room was the I'm just going to fade you guys because, well, everyone expects Pyfer to get a knockout, and it doesn't sound like this guy comes through all the time. So congratulations there. Nice hit. How did you think of the Pyfer Gaslam fight, Lethal?
Look. I'm not a fan of Pfeiffer. All right.
Yeah.
He's overhyped. He talks too much. Again, I'm going to put him in the Wang Kong area of the Kong Wang. All right.
Yeah, I'd put him worse.
What you've done, all you've done is point fight, and you say you're going to give your best, and it wasn't the good, and it wasn't the bad. That was an old man that was fucking half your size. Oh, fat cunt too, Gaslam. You know what I mean? On his way out.
Yeah.
If you can't put him out, good luck.
He's got a fucking granite chin though, to be fair. And he did get set on his ass. The thing is what is this follow-up game from Pyfer? I mean, outside of an upkick, what was there to respect? Gaslam gonna threaten you in some fucking jiu-jitsu? Pyfer needs to learn how to pounce on his opportunities and keep it coming. He allows people to recover. He's very
Yeah.
patient, and I don't mind that normally, but like he's got to do something a little different because he's had a number of times now to have a follow-up shot or a follow-up flurry, and he just is like almost astonished at having the hardest punch in the UFC knocked people on their ass, and he's just looking at them. It feels like time is moving so fucking slowly as I'm like sitting there like, oh, do we get the finish? Do we get the knockout? And I'm a very like, especially when stakes on it, I'm a very emotional, screaming, fucking roaring, getting really into these fights. I swear to God, when Piper knocked Gaslam on his ass, I just sat there like, watch, he's gonna fuck this up, and he did. So I'm ready to move on. I'm just sick of this fucking dude getting
Five
as much spotlight as he's getting. Truthfully, I don't think Piper's as good. He's like in that. He hasn't even lost yet, and he's like in that fraud check category um, that I put
yeah.
Bo in very recently. I think Bo
Joe,
Nickel should fight Piper. Fuck this shit.
Joe, Joe Pfeiffer is a man. I like his strength. I like his convictions in his life. I like men that are outspoken and that stand their ground. You know, like I believe in that. Joe Pfeiffer is a fighter. He's not taking and translating his mouth into the ring. That's all I'm going to say on that. Take that energy from your mouth, put it in the fucking ring, and you might actually not just win by points and have another excuse and another reason. It wasn't my best day. What is your best day? You had 3 months to train for your best day, dude. Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck can you train for 3 months and turn up and not fucking perform? Oh, I wasn't feeling right. I'm sick of any fighter, not even him, all of them. You get the call, you get train. You don't go to work. You get to do what you love, to go to the gym for 8 hours a day and train and train and try. I wish I was young enough and had the and was able to do that. You know what I mean? To have that and have the freedom. Don't turn up on the day and say you had a bad day.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. I don't
And
believe in that. I don't like it. Your publicity is wrong. You're a big mouth, and then you have a bad day. I don't know who you are. I don't know what character you're playing. You're trying to play a character. I don't know what it is. Just be Joe Pfeiffer.
And just to like
And if you,
recap with him, his cardio worries me deeply. I can't see him doing past 15 minutes. His volume shrinks up, and he'll even apologize at the end of the fight, like, "Hey guys, I'm so sorry. You know, I didn't get that finish. I
what?
just what he didn't want to do is try swinging for the finish and being gassed out, knowing damn well that somehow Calvin has somehow more cardio, more of a gas tank when he's one of the pudgiest fucking dudes at the weight class you've ever seen. So I don't know what it is with Joe, if he's cutting too much weight and it's a bit of a problem for his gas tank. If that's the case, maybe it makes sense that this guy moves up and fights at 205. He looks the part to begin with. Maybe Joe just needs to move up to 205 where he actually can sustain himself over a fucking 15-minute fight. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on him. Not impressed with him. Give me an actual guy who fights more than one time a year and actually gives a fuck about his MMA career, and he's probably not going to win. Unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
not Calvin.
I'm going back to our cards and collectibles. Uh, if I pulled a one of one Joe Pfeiffer out of a box, I'm putting it straight on eBay. If that makes sense, it's not going to my PC. It's not doing anything special. It's just going straight on eBay for whoever wants a one-on-one Joe Pfeiffer. And mate, I will guarantee this: that guy is never ever touching gold ever in his life. He will never come on this podcast because I've said that. And I don't want to make enemies, but I have to say the truth.
He's
I don't know what I've seen out of you. Dana White literally promoted you as the greatest, next best thing in the world. He gave you all the free promotion. He gave it all to you, the golden ticket, and you've done nothing with it at all. So I'm not bagging Joe Pfeiffer anymore. I'm just saying, dude, walk the walk, talk the talk. Uh, you either want to point fight or I don't know about your gas tank. But for fuck's sake, dude, do something. Do something except nothing.
yeah, he's great at talking shit with the fans, always heating on them.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe there's enough things coming in that have a bit of a point. If it wasn't for such his cocky attitude going into that Joker fight to have it turn out the way it did, I don't think the stock would be as hard against him as it is. But then with the pullout against Gaslam and this whole fuck Mexico, I mean the guy's kind of
Look,
he is playing
this,
heel, whether it's intentional or
everyone's trying
not.
to play him here.
He's hard to get
They watch.
behind from a likable sense. So now what he has to do is, from a fight perspective, do the things that all fans enjoy, which is hitting a big knockout and slowly gain back a little bit of respect. Because at this point, that weight division is just waiting to eat this guy apart,
Yeah.
both on the feet and on the ground. And I don't think he has anything to do about it unless he can do it in the first round, because then he's uncomfortable using what gas he has to finish a fight. And that's fucking pathetic when you're a professional athlete.
Wait another year, gave Dana White privilege for you to train another fucking whole year, 6 months to get more skills, because that's what Dana will give you. But at the end of the day, brother, I'm going to say this word: speechless. Speechless on the performance. Aslam, I love that shit. I love you that he knows he's old. He knows he's fat. But he went in there to fight. I thought he just might come in a bit tighter and use that Mexican boxing. You know, he's really good in the fucking. He's really good in tight. He's really good in the telephone box. I thought he might be able to come in, but he's also a short little man fighting a big tall man. So I know we've gone too far on that fight, but we'll move on.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But yeah,
The biggest thing is if anyone can throw a low kick, an inside kick, any of that on Joe, it's over. The guy puts his stance is so wide, that front foot is out there so far. Joker already showed you the blueprint. If anyone can throw low kicks on Joe, it's over. I mean, he's not going to be able to sustain that over, you know, anything past the first round. That's how I feel about him. So moving up the cards where we absolutely cooked the rest of it to perfection. Was very strong in Harrison getting the job done within the first 3 rounds via submission, via knockout, however you wanted it. I called crucifix if the TKO ground and pound occurred, but we respected the submission especially, and that's exactly what happened in this fight. Kayla by finish paid out pretty well. We dropped a hundo on it and didn't have any regrets whatsoever. It was a wonderful finish. She did exactly to Pena what she wanted to all fucking week long, letting the little chihuahua bark, 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 bark. And when you really got to watch all the vlogs throughout the week and understand more about Harrison's character, the things that she's taken around outside of her martial arts journey, the UFC couldn't have a better role model champion right now. And we love the fucking face off at the end with Nunes, which is all that we wanted all week too, talking about both. So here we are. We did it. How you feeling
mate,
about this one, Lethal?
I'm telling you, you finally got a great champion in your country.
Yeah. Fucking amazing one,
No,
actually.
can I say that? Can I
Yeah.
say that? And that's not being rude. United States of America, you dudes, I know you're going through a few problems right now, but hopefully she's a bit of an inspiration. You know what I mean? Like, you got a great champion. It's been a while. She epitomize American when I watch her. I've seen her. I've been following it up to there. Again, I love trash talk, but I just love trash talk when it goes wrong. I had all my money on fucking. I had a few long shots, like 2 or 3 on fucking Pena. But I'm going to tell you what, this is what I did to make all my money. Because I told you at the beginning, I lost everything. But I had a couple parlays still going, so I got up to here. So I got up to Kayla. I had a parlay left at after she won. It was $115 cash out. So this is where we're at. So I was like, at this moment. And then I had Sean O'Malley as the end.
Mm.
All right. So this is where I was. So I did your first 4 at the beginning. I got my $60. I played through. I got $12.50 on someone at the first 3. So I'm sitting back. I'm at a loss now, right? I'm at the back. Put in 250. I'm at the fucking last parlay. The last parlay is Sean O'Malley. I only get $347 if he pulls it off. So, Kayla Harrison, great champion, great win. Knew that judo. Too strong, too tough, too fit, too everything. Just amazing, amazing American champion, amazing American representative for the sport. Um, I think she's amazing. I think it's going to be great. She's going to maul fucking Amanda Nunes, unfortunately, but that's just life. You're going to have something great going on there with her. Uh, so I cashed in after Kayla Harrison. Okay, so for that, I was at the end, so I won that. I cashed in for $115. That will move us on to our last fight.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I took Caleb by finish just to play ultra safe there, but dropping $100 did not disappoint. Turned into like 170, quick and easy. Moving up the card, wrapping things up. Marab crushing Sean O'Malley. Bit of a north. It was a north-south choke, but it looked like he set it up with like a reverse ninja choke. And the way that arm was going around O'Malley's fucking jaw, I was having flashbacks of Hamzat and Whitaker. The way that pressure was coming up and around that jaw at first with O'Malley, I said, "Oh fuck, that's a lot of torque. That's a lot of pressure." And no, I mean Sugar. My breakdown was I love that he's doing what he's doing. Had that happen at the beginning of his career when he knew he was an excellent striker, we'd probably be in a different scenario. But as it stands, if you're a strong grappling base, much like Aljo was, I think 4 out of the 5 times you look really good against Sean. We just haven't been able to see it as much because Sean has been invested into by the UFC. He's had mostly stand up fights up to this point. And Marab didn't have to change anything about what he did in that first fight. It was, I want to make things better. And I called out the submission in the vlog breakdown. Aljo impressed with Marab. You're taking some of my moves. We're seeing that pressure from Marab on the ground. And I'm thinking, you know what? I don't give a fuck that O'Malley's done all this shit to be better over a year. At the end of the day, Marab's done this shit since he was a teenager, and I respect Marab's ability to get the finish here. I put a little sprinkle on a TKO, and I hammered the submission. The submission paid out at plus 1,000 prop. $50 took your toad to $550. So boom, we love that one.
Right? Uh, Look, what do I say? I'm going to start here. Sean O'Malley had the shortcut to the top. He missed the top 10 fighters before he started, okay? He fought fifth and then he went to Yarn. So
And then
I'm going
stole.
to stop right. I'm going to stop right there and let everyone fathom on that thought before we think about anything, okay? So they gave him Peter Yarn, and I think he lost that fight anyway. Anyway,
Yep.
so this is where we're at with Sean O'Malley with me. Popular, yes. Smoking the weirdest, yeah, awesome, dude. We all smoke the weed, man. It's fucking cool. It makes us calm. You got the Lamborghini's got the pink head. I said this to my young blood over here. You just come home from work. How was your, my young man? All good? Just should survive while I'm doing my podcast. Yeah, he's covering me while I'm here.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
I'm all good. We're not
Appreciate you,
on
bro.
fire. All right.
We
So
appreciate you, man. Thank you.
what I said was, dude, there's 3 things I picked out of this fight. What we talked about, which was what you just said. Sean O'Malley, there's Marab the submission because we do the embedded blog and things. Uh, Sean O'Malley thinking in 6 months I can run a marathon without training. You know what I mean? And I don't think you could cover that leverage of that gap in 6 months. I don't think not fucking your wife and not smoking billies is going to make any difference. This guy's Marab. Marab's fucking chicks, and he's not smoking billies, but he's definitely fucking having sex, I believe, because I don't know. He's quite a funny man. You know what women like? They don't like beautiful men. They like funny men. If you can make a woman laugh, brother, trust me, this is my life advice to everyone. To all the men watching this. If you can make a woman laugh, we're all good to go. So Marab said, not he said, his coaches said, we find, can you actually finish a fight, please? Unembedded. Did you hear that? Like, we want you
I
to
just
finish a
saw the
fight.
work he was doing with Aljo and didn't have to.
Yeah, no. But
I
there's
just
there's
went
a
off
moment
what I was seeing physically with his ability to
there's a
hold.
moment not on the but on an interview where they were just his
I'll do
coach was
that.
just saying, we asked him, can you stop playing and finish the fight? And Marab sat back and said, I'm going to finish it. That's what sold me.
Mm.
That what sold me because he's a robot. Marab's a robot. His coaches have said, finally, can you actually finish one fight and not kiss them on the back, bump them up the ass, steal jackets? Can you actually have fun, but can we actually finish this fight? I believe he looked back at his coach and went, oh, you want me not to have fun? No, have fun, brother, but just finish this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just show everyone, okay, that you're actually that good. And that's actually what he did. I believe he went into Terminator mode and went, coach has said, finish fight. And he walked in and finished fucking fight. And then he walked out and he was Marab again. But I
Yeah.
saw a brilliant performance. I saw the greatest, and I will say this till today, the slickest striker, not the greatest striker, the slickest, one of the slickest, top five in the bantamweight. Slickest striker, Sean O'Malley. But 6 months dope, all that bullshit, brother. Um, you have a problem now, too, Sean. You do have a problem. There's no rematch.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you ask for a third one, don't ask. It's insulting. You just got dominated the first one. He kissed you the first time. He raped you the second time. Literally raped you. You submitted. You tapped out because you were getting fucked up the ass. Right? So you tapped out. Don't fuck me up the ass anymore. All
here's the
right? The
thing.
first
Here's the
time he
thing I'll
played,
give
he did.
about this fight, real quick, is that um, a lot of people were getting sold. You don't find Sugar on the plus prop a whole bunch being an underdog. There's a lot of cope with, oh, well, the judges actually gave it, 2-3 for Sugar. So there's
Yeah.
a shot that if he's made all these improvements, he should be able to edge the 3-2.
I,
Not only that, but the UFC, they've put a lot of stock into O'Malley. And he has, here's the thing. Um, you needed to hear all those things to even understand why O'Malley was getting the rematch, anyways. Because normally, a champion who's fresh on to being a champion, who's hardly defended the title or hadn't even defended the title, right? You don't normally just get shot back up there for another immediate title fight unless it's either earned or
he went
privilege.
from
And
11.
I'm just going to recap on this real quick. You don't normally get this unless you're either earning it or it's privilege. O'Malley's, like we've just broken down, he's had a bit of a privilege his entire way between stylistic matchups that demonstrate his flawless striking, and now we're at the top where you don't get to pick that shit because you have to fight the champion regardless of
We'll be talking
where
about
they come
O'Malley
from.
in the next card with this one of these fighters. We will be talking about in the next. I'm going to say that's in the next card. He's still going to be involved because this is how the route he took. But I'm I'm sorry. I'm very emotional about this, brother. I believe the shortcut was too short. He got the 4 million followers. He got the whole village, and you just I don't know. I don't know. I tell you what, my PC collection of O'Malley, here we go. This is how I'm going to tune off on my end. There was a guy selling a Fearless 10 O'Malley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bookend 1 of 10 for $750 3 days before that fight. He's now selling it for $400.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, just in the real world, not even what we saw, O'Malley, your stocks just went down 30%. cards, Instagram, fame, whatever else. I don't know what you're going to do from a raping. You got jail rape, though. You got fucking jail rape. Like, I have a PC of O'Malley. I'm not selling its cards. I'm not giving up on him.
Sure. I
I
think
still
most of
keep them.
us who collect can admit that's an emotional dip. That's an emotional price point, and all those things do bounce back over time. So, we're not wizards by saying this. Yeah, if a fighter loses and you want to collect on that fighter, go hop on right after they lose that fight and take a look at the
Remember,
prices that next week.
if
You're gonna
anything,
find some great deals. That's just how the market
I'm
is,
really going to
sadly.
buy more O'Malley cards now.
Yeah,
This is the time to buy O'Malley.
sure. Yep,
Okay,
that's
God,
what.
that guy just went from 700 to 472 hours. He
Yup.
was waiting for the fight. He was waiting for the fight. He got back to me. He goes, "You want it?" I said, "No, I'll give you 250 for it." Because right now, O'Malley, you won't see him for a year, brother. O'Malley's done. By the time you see him again, cars will be worth 100.
I think it does open, and this is how I'm going to wrap up on this card, is that it sets up a really interesting playing field. Marab, I expect to dominate for some time, but with Corey Sandhagen up on deck by the looks of things, Marab taking on the Sandman. If Sandman did pull the upset, O'Malley needs to do something to get himself to that dance, and maybe someone like Umar comes up and pulls the upset against Sandman. Whatever that looks like, I just need O'Malley to meet paths with Corey Sandhagen, because I think stylistically that's an amazing fight. But even then, if the Sandman gets close, O'Malley's not at range. We're talking about a clinch game that's very lethal with Sandhagen. We're talking about grappling capabilities too. So it would be a fun fight to see how it plays out from a figure standpoint. Both guys very long, rangy, lengthy, but Sandhagen being the more complete fighter, Sugar probably one of the best strikers. It's a beautiful matchup. I'd love to see it.
Mate, I predicted that. Well, I wanted to happen. I wanted to happen for the belt. Um, for some reason, everyone's been avoiding that fight. Like I said, the UFC gave O'Malley from 11 to 1. He jumped from 11. Go back on your records. I know you will, Toad. He jumped from number 11 or lower, and he went and jumped to number 1 and fought Peter Yan.
Yeah.
He missed 9 of them on the way, brother. And then they gave him, which we'll talk about soon, they gave him that dude. So,
Yeah.
and that dude is, I have a name for him, but I'm going to call him that dude because we'll talk about that card when we get to the second segment of this.
Yep.
But definitely saying, mate, uh, you deserve what you got. If you didn't fight the other 9, you're fighting a man that is a machine. You're fighting a man who's dedicated to sport, that has never smoked weed. And if he did, he probably smoked it once and went, I don't like it. I want to go and train. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He's a fucking Terminator. They should put him in the next fucking Terminator movie. Terminator 6, Marab.
I did ironically
Devastating.
meet Marab at a fucking weed shop in Vegas for his meet and greet, and I had to buy a moon rock in order to meet him, which totally worked out great because those pre-roll slap. But yeah, I think O'Malley will see Jan again at some point. I expect there to be a Jan too. A lot of his fans demand that rematch. It's popular. There's other content creators who've already mentioned this fight as well. I think it has enough people talking about it now that O'Malley's off of that, that pedestal, being the champion, getting the, I don't know, the rematch that wasn't deserved. There's no denying
Yeah.
that he will cross paths with Piotr Jan also. So wrapping up the card again, we made some money, got 3 picks wrong, most of them right. Had a great fucking time catching up with the homie and his brother. Um, Glad you had a good time too,
Doing my
Lethal.
cousin dance, man. I'm doing my money dance, brother. That's what I do when I make fucking money. I do this thing. I go, and I fucking dance because money and picks is what we do. And we might get parlays wrong, man. But what we did walk out was for cash, and I got good cash.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
got good
lesson
cash.
there is if you didn't make any money and you followed a lot of these reads, don't parlay everything together. Take some of like your favorite props and just hammer it. I was very confident Marab was going to come out and get a finish. I liked the finish props. The TKO, not as much. I mean, he certainly throws fucking hammers, but respecting the range, the distance, O'Malley able to get out of range out of a lot of those. Go to where the fight was going. We all knew it was going to the ground, and Marab training with Aljo, I think that was an easy read. The improvements he made surprised Aljo. The backpack himself saying, hey, that's some of my shit. He held down O'Malley considerably better than the first time around. And people were giving O'Malley his flowers. I was even more impressed with Marab's pressure this time around. And I knew without a doubt when he cinched that shit up and went north to south, that was it. That was the choke. That was me getting paid. And that was Marab in still. So excited to see this guy. Hope you guys enjoyed the recap on this. We get to recording later in the week, so if you did watch this all the way through, we really appreciate you. I know it's delayed, and these would look better coming after the fights, but we still wanted to share and kind of recap it together
And you know
nonetheless.
what?
So happy
We
to
all
have you
get
part of it.
emotional after the fight too. We all get emotional. We all want to recap straight away. What we do, I think, is good. We get a couple of days to think about it. We give everyone a couple of days to think about it. We're not emotional. We're not drunk. We're not with our mates. We're not smoking weed. We're sitting back and just recapping a 2 day event. So I think it's the best time to fucking recap, brother. I don't think recapping straight after. I think what we're doing now, it gives everyone time to breathe and go, okay, man, we lost money, but why? Why did we lose?
Yeah.
Instead of being a and go, oh my god, I think he won, I think he lost, you know. So I think the recap that we do, brother, is cool because it gives everyone time to breathe. And we're about to go into the next card. But what I will say, Mr. Toe, can I cut off on this one?
Yep.
Can you give me 20 minutes to stretch my legs,
Yeah.
do my dogs, and
Yep.
I will get back to you,
Yeah.
and
Sounds
we will
good, man. All right.
start chapter 2, my friend.
Yep. I'm gonna wrap up this video real quick. Again, thank you guys so much for recapping UFC 316 with us. Rob beating the snot out of O'Malley and Kayla shoving her dick up Pena's ass. What a great card. Much love, y'all. Peace.